Hello and welcome to another update video on Bitcoin. I want to take a look at the larger time frame for Bitcoin today. I believe this is quite important. I believe it is relevant for everybody to understand, what could be coming up for Bitcoin in the coming months. Let's say it like that. Obviously, at the moment, we are still in an uptrend. This is our long-term chart. And what you can see here is that the price is in the late stages, I would say, of an Elliott Wave structure to the upside, an Elliott Wave 5-wave move up from the November 2022 low. There are different scenarios that I am tracking. I mean, in one scenario, this move to the upside from the 2022 low is the beginning of a larger 5-wave move. Yeah. So a 5-wave pattern like this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, can always be the beginning of something. It can also be the end of something. So it's either the beginning of a much larger 5-wave move. That would be our white scenario. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5 for a larger 5-wave move over the next, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Difficult to say how long this takes, but I already posted a few times that my view is that after the next bear market, we can start the journey to $1 million for Bitcoin. That doesn't mean this has to happen in the next cycle. It could also be in 2 cycles. Yeah. And also, please don't assume that necessarily all the time the 4-year cycle theory will continue to be followed, right? Not necessarily the case. For now, the focus is on the current cycle, but I want to highlight that once this cycle is over, and there's a good chance it completes in quarter 4, as it usually does, it's not a must, but it's just what happened in the past, then we can get what I would call a wave 2 to the downside in this bullish scenario. It would be long-term bullish anyway, right? I only have really long-term bullish wave structures for Bitcoin, but the next larger correction could then be a wave 2. This year, this support zone is really just a rough estimate, the first main support area to watch once we have a top. But honestly, it's not even clear if we actually have a top. Yeah. For me, I assume there is a really good chance for Bitcoin to rally once more in Q4, potentially to the next highs, the next, let's say, all-time high, right? And there isn't really one target. I mean, I'm watching the area above 130K next, 130, 136K. Those are my targets. I talked about that many times. Here, there are different ways how targets can be calculated based on Elliott Wave. But basically, this zone ranges all the way up to 190K. So I still keep the door open for higher, guys. I just want to highlight that the next larger correction can be a wave 2. But first of all, we need to have a top to actually calculate really these support levels. For now, this is just an estimate. Now, as I said, a 5-wave move up can also be the end of something. And there is a wave count. There is a structure of our long-term chart, and we use a specific model for that, yeah? We use the Elliott Wave model. So, of course, like everywhere, really, there is not only one answer. There are scenarios. And this chart shows how a 5-wave move up can be the end of something. It can be the end of a larger 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and this would complete even a larger degree 3rd wave. And then what I just showed you as first pullback would actually be just wave A of an even larger correction. Then we can get a B wave and a C wave. Now, again, this is just a larger degree, the macro framework we're working within. I would not even try to distinguish between these 2 potentials until we have a low in place here, because only afterwards, in this structure on this chart, the rally would be a B wave before we then go down in wave C. Long correction can even take 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Yeah. But in the other scenario, the rally obviously would not be a B wave, which is a corrective rally. It would be a 3rd wave breakout. So either way, in both of these scenarios, this area here can be a buy area. But we haven't even got a top. And again, there are different ways how we can calculate targets. But I would still like to see the price get into that 130K area. I mentioned that many times, and we haven't even broken below our 21-week EMA exponential moving average. And October could be bullish. Yeah, there is every reason to believe that. Of course, we shouldn't blindly believe that. We need to focus on the levels and the trend and risk management. And every single day, I cover the short-term chart on our More Crypto Online channel, if you don't know. But this here is just a macro overview. But we're still holding, even here, that 21-week EMA. It's beautiful, yeah? I said to you before, this is an important one. These Fibonacci-related exponential moving averages, they can be quite helpful, especially the 55-week here. You can see we haven't had a close below this 55-week EMA for more than a year. So the trend is up, and we haven't even reached that 55-week EMA anymore. I did say if we start to break below it, yeah, and start to get a weekly close below it, I think that could be a first indication we have actually topped this cycle. But until then, the trend is up. And why do I say October could be bullish? Well, again, it's not me telling you that. It's the data. It's the chart analysis, yeah? And it is what we normally see on the monthly returns heat map. Now, I showed you this one before. I did say to you before that typically October is a bullish month. In fact, it is one of the most bullish months for Bitcoin. It's not the most bullish one. That's November, and then also April is typically very bullish. But in terms of how many months, yeah, over a period of more than 10 years, yeah, are bullish, well, October clearly wins. I think there have only been 1, 2, 3, 4 months, yeah, in that whole period since 2011 that were actually red. And honestly, it was just moderate. Only the 2011 was an exception, but I mean, 2011 was very, very, very early, right? Now, what is even more interesting, in the years when the September month, which is normally bearish, closed bullish, there was only one occasion when October was then bearish, and that is more than 10 years ago. So every single time in the last 10 years when September was actually bullish and closed green, October was green as well. The only exception is literally 2012. The only exception. So, I mean, talking about probabilities, yeah, seasonalities show us that October could be quite bullish. Of course, this is just like macro for short-term precision. We have to follow every single day price action. Price action is key. Price action is king. At the moment, while I record this video, Bitcoin is showing some upside. So it's a good start to October. I will, of course, keep you updated. Hope you enjoyed the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And yeah, also check out our other channel, More Crypto Online. And enjoy. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.